Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Today I would like to think about karma from the book Path of Sri Ramana, Chapter 3. What is karma? Referred from Upadesha Saram by B.V. Narasimha Swami. Karma means action. Karma is the intentional action of one with moral sense who under that sense acts as a free agent to produce desired results. How karma begins? Our state of oneness is the state of perfect freedom, that is Sat-Chit-Ananda. What does it mean when we say that we are perfectly free? It means that we have power, that is Shakti, to do everything as we desire, that is Icha. This Icha Shakti, self-freedom, is the nature of our Brahman. By no one or no other means can destroy this freedom. The whole world, soul and God seem to have existence only through our imagination, but really they do not have any existence of their own. This is Maya or a state of delusion. This conception of our own wonderful power to see ourselves as many, world, soul and God, and this conception of identifying ourselves as one among the souls is the first thought, I, the ego. This is only a thought, not our self-awareness. As man identifies himself with any one of three bodies, gross, subtle or causal, he believes the corresponding worlds are outside him. Therefore, the soul, Jiva, makes use of his mind, body and world in as many ways to get happiness. Thus, karma begins. The reason for starting karma is thus to reach one's own natural state of happiness, which is seemingly forgotten. The power of willing, that is Icha Shakti, is extroverted through mind, senses and body. The individual separates himself more and more away from happiness. All his efforts in the form of karma propels him out of happiness instead of leading him to happiness. He engages himself into innumerable actions, karmas, such as thoughts, speech and activities. But as his body is short-lived, he has to lose it before all newly started karmas are completed and before the results are experienced. Therefore, he wishes to have a body again to continue his uncompleted karmas and to experience their fruit. They start new karmas according to his wishes. At this point, God, who is none other than Jiva's real nature, comes to his help. God makes him to take a body through which he can continue his little amount of previous karmas and experience the result of those karmas. This is called prarabdha, that is, karma started giving fruit. All the stored up remaining portion of his past karmas, which he will have to experience in so many births to come, is called sanchita karma. So, in this birth, Jiva can experience only that portion of pain and pleasure which are included in prarabdha. As soon as all the fruits as pain and pleasures in prarabdha have been experienced and exhausted, the body dies. So, the end of the prarabdha is the end of the body. The Jiva who has such a body is the doer, karta, as well as the experiencer, bhokta. While experiencing prarabdha, Jiva uses his freedom of power to act, as he has done before, and perform many new karmas. In this manner, he is fully engaged in performing innumerable karmas until the body dies. So, such new karmas performed while experiencing prarabdha is called ahamya karma. So, man, through this power of freedom to act, one commits two mistakes while having this body prarabdha. The first mistake, he tries either to stop or decrease the misery that comes through prarabdha, which is unavoidable and unalterable. The second mistake, he tries either to increase or hasten the happiness that also comes through prarabdha. In this process, he loses his balance of mind, and thereby he creates more and more ahamya. But on the contrary, if one has such a love for God that he takes everything as his will and everything as his prasad, he doesn't lose his mind. He could endure prarabdha cheerfully. It's here only God comes to him in the form of Guru to help him to find out how he has committed the above two mistakes through his original freedom to act. And its Guru teach him how to use correctly this freedom during this birth. Our Guru Bhagavan Sri Ramana places in front of the disciple the path of self-enquiry, the Jnana Marga, and the path of self-surrender, Bhakti Marga. The devotee who takes either self-enquiry or self-surrender is able to understand that whatever happens in his life is only favorable to lessen the activities of his mind and makes him turn selfward. The loving words of Sri Ramana flashes through his mind. Know this to be by the grace of your Guru, who is acting outside to push you within. So, aspirant who is in the path of self-enquiry, he feels ashamed to pray any longer to his Guru to alter his destiny, prarabdha, because he finds that all activities going on in his life are only to make him to turn selfward. In the eyes of the matured disciples, prarabdha is completely non-existent. He could understand that experiencership is destroyed along with the doership. Having these two aspects thus destroyed, the jiva's keeping quiet is being still, summa-iru, which is the real upadesha of Bhagavan Sri Ramana. It is what mentioned in Kaivalyam, chapter 1, verse 96. Just as the bundle of cotton is burnt into ashes during the great fire of dissolution, Sanchita, the wonderful seed of diversified fruits, innumerable birds, is utterly burnt to ashes by the fire of knowledge. And also in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 37, Krishna says, Yatai damsi samidhyognihi basmasat kuruterjuna jnanagni sarva karmani basmasat kurute tatha. The fire of knowledge burns all karmas to ashes. For the aspirant who is in the path of love, Bhakti Marga, believes that God or Guru protects him always. So, such aspirant uses his original freedom to will and act for surrendering his doership to him. Therefore, he no longer has to make any efforts, so no more ahamyas for him. And thus he becomes still. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi says in Arunachala Aksharamanamale, verse 43, Tane Tane Tattvam Idane Tane Katuvai Arunachala. So pain and pleasures may come according to prarabdha, but the aspirant has his own freedom to remain in the ever-flowing supreme grace. For this power only he has freedom and not for obstructing the function of prarabdha. This freedom alone, which is nothing but grace, paves the way for us to be freed from all karmas. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. உனது திருவருளே இந்த உலக காட்சியெல்லாம் மனது வடிவினாய் நீயே மாயையும் ஆகுவையே தனது அறிவொளியாய் இதயம் தங்கும் போதினிலே தனது அறிவொளியாய் இதயம் தங்கும் போதினிலே எனது நானிலதால் தோன்ற எதுவுமில்லை அயலே எனது நானிலதால் தோன்ற எதுவுமில்லை அயலே ரமணா உனது திருவருளே இந்த உலக காட்சியெல்லாம் மனது வடிவினாய் நீயே மாயையும் ஆகுவையே. அறிவு வடிவினன் நீ ஆனாலும் அருணாச்சலத்தினிலே உறவில் குருவடிவாய் கண்முன் உடலோடுலவினையே. அறிவு வடிவினன் நீ ஆனாலும் அருணாச்சலத்தினிலே உறவில் குருவடிவாய் கண்முன் உடலோடுலவினையே. மறைவில் அறிவொளியாய் வாழும் வழியை அருளினையே. மறைவில் அறிவொளியாய் வாழும் வழியை அருளினையே. இறைவன் நினதருளால் என்னை உன் இயல்பில் இணைத்தருளே. இறைவன் நினதருளால் என்னை உன் இயல்பில் இணைத்தருளே. ரமணா உனது திருவருளே இந்த உலக காட்சியெல்லாம் மனது வடிவினாய் நீயே மாயையும் ஆகுவையே. எனது நானிலதால் தோன்ற எதுவும் இல்லை அயலே. இறைவன் நினதருளால் என்னை உன் இயல்பில் இணைத்தருளே. ரமணா உன் இயல்பில் இணைத்தருளே. ரமணா என்னை உன் இயல்பில் இணைத்தருளே.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Ella Maillard, a Swiss travel writer and photographer, met the Maharshi in the 1940s. Two captivating photographs of Sri Ramana Maharshi, shot by her, are in the photo album Radiance of the Self, published by the Ramana Maharshi Center, Bangalore. I don't think it is within my power to depict the subtle atmosphere which renders the place, the ashram, unique in its setting of dry and hard beauty.
Westerners who come to know the Maharshi feel constrained to say how puzzled they are by the inactivity of the sage. We, having identified ourselves with our bodies, are convinced that one has to be visibly active. We forget that inactivity is the basis of its corollary activity, that the useful will couldn't exist or move without a motionless center. I felt strongly at Tiruvannamalai that such great ones as the Maharshi are the salt of the earth. Something intangible emanates from these realized men. They sanctify the land through their presence. The sage has attained a certitude which makes him free from restlessness, free from fear, desire, and doubt. He can do things no one of us can do because he is egoless. Those who live near him have the conviction that he knew what he was talking about, who knew the why and how of what had been harassing them. They stopped worrying continually about problems they were never meant to solve.
He is a link between what we call the concrete world and the unmanifest. He is a living symbol of that knowledge without which the humanity of today is but a pitiful joke. He implants a lasting peace in the center of every man's heart. What do we see in the West of today? Every moment adding to the despair of men lost in fruitless researches. Hopelessness gaining ground, each one being obliged to seek a solution along alleys, most of which become blind. The Sage of the Vedanta symbolizes a link between the unknowable ultimate and man. The sage relies on actionless activity and carries on wordless teaching.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramana. « 21 juillet 1946. Dans l'après-midi, messieurs Bhagava des Nancy, Uttar Pradesh, posa 2 questions. Comment procéder pour chercher le je? Quand je médite, j'arrive à un état de vide. Comment poursuivre à partir de là? Bhagavan. Peu importe qu'il y a des visions, des sons ou autre chose, il y a un vide. Êtes-vous présent pendant tout cela ou non? Vous avez dû exister même pendant votre expérience du vide. Sinon, vous ne pourriez pas en parler. Gardez l'esprit fixe sur ce vous et la quête du je. Dans tous les livres du Vedanta, vous pouvez trouver cette question sur le vide que les disciples posent à leur gourou. C'est le mental qui perçoit des objets et fait des expériences. Puis il trouve un vide quand il cesse de percevoir ou de faire des expériences. Mais ce n'est pas vous. Vous êtes la lumière permanente qui illumine non seulement les expériences, mais aussi le vide. C'est comme la lumière du théâtre qui permet de voir la scène, les acteurs, le déroulement de la pièce, mais qui reste encore allumée quand la pièce est terminée, permettant ainsi de savoir qu'il n'y a plus de représentation. Voici un autre exemple. Nous voyons des objets autour de nous. Dans l'obscurité totale, nous ne sommes plus en mesure de les voir. Nous disons alors, je ne vois rien. Pourtant, les yeux sont là pour dire qu'ils ne voient rien. Pareillement, vous êtes toujours présent dans le vide dont vous parlez. Vous êtes le témoin des 3 corps, grossier, subtil et causal. Des 3 états, veille, rêve et sommeil profond. Des 3 temps, passé, présent et futur, ainsi que de cette vacuité. Dans l'histoire du 10e homme, chaque compte le nombre d'hommes présents, mais comme chacun oublie de se compter soi-même, il pense qu'ils ne sont que 9 et qu'il manque un homme, mais ils ne savent pas qui. C'est pareil avec le vide. Nous sommes si habitués à l'idée que tout ce que nous voyons autour de nous est permanent et que nous sommes le corps, que quand tout cela cesse d'exister, nous nous imaginons ne plus exister nous-mêmes. Nous avons peur. Bhagavan cita alors les vers 212 et 213 des Vivekachudamani, dans lesquels le disciple dit: après avoir éliminé les 5 enveloppes en tant que non-soi, je me rends compte qu'il ne reste plus rien. Le gourou répond: le soi ou cela par lequel sont perçues toutes les modifications, y compris l'ego et ses créations, ainsi que leur absence, le vide, est là, en permanence. Puis Bhagavan poursuit sur ce sujet. La nature du soi ou je doit être la lumière. Vous percevez toutes les modifications et leur absence. Comment? Dire que vous recevez la lumière d'un autre amènerait à se demander d'où il l'a reçu lui-même. Il n'y aurait pas fond à cette chaîne de raisonnement. Vous êtes donc vous-même la lumière. L'exemple courant à ce propos est la suivante. Vous préparez avec divers ingrédients toutes sortes de sucreries aux formes diverses. Elles ont tout un goût sucré, car elles contiennent du sucre et la saveur sucrée, et la nature même du sucre. De même, Toutes les expériences comme aussi leur absence contient la lumière, qui est la nature même du soi. Sans le soi, ces expériences n'existeraient pas. Tout comme sans sucre, aucun des plats que vous préparez ne peut avoir une saveur sucrée. Un peu plus tard, Bhagavan dit, d'abord on voit le soi comme objet, ensuite comme vide, et puis comme le soi. C'est seulement dans cette dernière étape qu'il n'y a de voir, car voir, c'est être.
In the afternoon, the following two questions were put by Mr. Bhargava, an elderly visitor from Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh. I am to serve for the I from start to finish. When I meditate, I reach a stage where there is a vacuum or void. Or should I proceed from there? Bhagavan. Never mind whether there are vision or sound or anything else or whether there is a void. Are you present during all this or are you not? You must have been there even during the void to be able to say that you experience a void. To be fixated in that you is the quest for the I from start to finish. In all book on Vedanta, you will find this question or void of nothing being left, raised by the disciple and answered by the guru. It is the mind that sees object and has experience, and that find is the void when it ceases to see and experience, but that is not you. You are the constant illumination that light up both the experiences and the void. It's like the theater light that enables you to see the theater, the actor and the play while the play is going on, but also remain a light and enable you to say that there is no play on when it's all finished. Or there is another illustration. We see objects all around us, but in complete darkness we do not see them and we say, I see nothing. Even then, the eyes are there to say that they see nothing. In the same way, you are there even in the void you mention. You are the witness of the three bodies, the gross, the subtle, and the causal, and of the three states, walking, dream, and deep sleep, and of the three time, past, present, and future, and also of this void. In the story of the 10 men, when each of the 10 contained and thought there were only 9, each one forgetting to count himself. There is a stage when they think one is missing and don't know who it is, and that corresponds to the void. We are so accustomed to the notion that all that we see around us is permanent and that we are this body, that when all this ceases to exist, we imagine and feel that we also have ceased to exist. Bhagavan also quoted verses 212 and 213 from Viveka Chudamani, in which the disciples say, after I eliminate the 5 sheets as not self, I found that nothing at all remained. And the Guru replied that the self, or that by which all modification, including the Edo and its creature, and their absence, that is the voice, are persevered is always there. Then Bhagavan continued speaking on the subject and said, the nature of the self, or I must be elimination. You perceive all modification and their absence. Or, to say that you get the elimination from another will raise the question how he got it, and there will be no end to the chain of reasoning. So your whole self are the illumination. The usual illustration of this is the following. You make all kind of sweet of various ingredients and in various shape, and they all taste sweet because there is sugar in all of them, and sweetness is the nature of sugar. And in the same way, all experiences and the absence of them contain the illumination, which is the nature of the self. Without the self, they cannot be experienced, just as without sugar, no one of the articles you make can taste sweet. A little later, Bhagavan also says, first no one sees the self as objects, then one sees the self as void, then one sees the self as self. Only in the last there is no seeing because saying is being. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.